This is the set of maps for our new base material. Base color, metallic, normal, roughness, and ambient occlusion. We have two asset packs here. Let's check which textures they utilize and how the master material is structured. The base texture set uses an ORM map, occlusion, roughness, metallic. This is important because our new material requires a separate texture for each of these three channels. Wow, that's a lot going on. Fortunately, we're about to replace this material with our own custom setup. We will now bulk remap the texture channels using the migration of existing instances from the old material to our new one. Select Old Master Material. Click on Tools and then Open Material Migrator. Click arrow to use selected asset from Content Browser. Do the same with new material. So many textures. We're simplifying things now, but remember we could always hook these up. For the sake of efficiency, let's delete the unnecessary ones. Let's begin assigning our parameters. Remembering the ORM remapping, first, we'll select the channel for ambient occlusion, AO. Next, clone that parameter twice to create the inputs for roughness and metallic. Crucially, make sure to deselect the alpha channel for all of these. Click Apply Mapping and wait. And that's it. We're done. Now, after a quick refresh of any open materials, everything looks correct. We've successfully created and assigned individual texture inputs from ORM channels. Of course, the previous material was highly advanced. It included features like dual normal maps and separate layers for enriching the assets. The user must decide if their new, simplified master material will provide sufficient visual quality for their needs. This entire procedure can be automated and applied on a larger scale by scanning entire directories for existing master materials. All right, let's now look at an asset from the second pack. We need to locate and investigate its master material. This pack does not utilize material instances, which is problematic. Even though the base materials are very simple, doing this manually would take a huge amount of time. Note that here too, we must create new textures for individual channels due to the combined ORM map. If the situation were reversed, it would be no problem. We would duplicate the parameters and simply feed the single-channel textures into the combined ORM output. And just to reiterate, the previous operation can be performed in bulk on a folder path. The migrator will locate all the master materials, and the rest of the process remains identical to a direct migration from the old to the new material. If we need to skip certain materials, like water, fire, or other special effects, we can simply delete the entry entirely, just like I'm doing now. All right, let's get started on migrating these raw materials. Copy reference and fix the path. Remember about game folder. Notice that here there are no parameters defined in the material itself. The migrator automatically locates the first connected texture and allows for mapping. However, with very complex raw materials, this kind of migration can be problematic. In this specific case, we must remember that the ORM map is plugged into the metallic, roughness, and ambient occlusion channels, so we have to manually separate and remap these channels. This might take a moment. Let's check our new material instances. For every raw base material, one corresponding material instance should have been created, along with a set of new textures. The migrator automatically located the static meshes that required a material swap and performed the replacement. We've implemented a separate dialog window, the texture channel split merge, to allow users to manually handle the splitting and merging of texture data. There is also a simple renamer utility available for users working with older engine versions. We've anticipated the edge case, where other channels should be empty. Even so, the system will preserve the color information. To manage this correctly, you must select the single color channel and ensure the alpha channel is also selected. Remember that you can do more than just select and combine channels. You can also swap their order. This is a feature, for instance, if you ever needed to change the setup from ORM to RMA.